In the forested foot of Mount Maculat, located in Cuenca Batangas, dwell a mystical being. Her name was Elise, and she was one of the most enchanting creatures in all the land. She was said to be impossibly beautiful, with hair that shimmered like moonlight, and eyes that sparkled like diamonds. One day, while Elise was wandering through the woods, she came across a young boy named Rico. He was just a child, with dark hair and bright, curious eyes. He looked at her with wonder and amazement, and Elise could feel something stirring within her. She stared at him intently, and as she did so, she realized that she had fallen in love with him. At first Elise was concerned if she would ever approach Rico, but as the time passed, she gathered the confidence to approach him and befriend the young man. She made up a story that she lived just behind the mountains and have seen Rico before and afar. Rico was mesmerized with her beauty, and immediately became accustomed to her. Elise visited him often, watching him grow up through the years from a boy into a man. She taught him about the magic of the world, and he became fascinated by it. Rico spent hours with her, learning about the enchanted creatures that roamed their mystical world. As he grew older, he realized that he loved Elise too. He knew that he had come to love her like no other, and he felt a burning desire to be with her always. He thought about her day and night, and he grew more and more attached to her with each passing moment. One day, as Rico sat by the river, gazing out at the verdant greenery of the kingdom, Elise appeared before him. She looked at him with a strange expression, and for a moment, he was afraid that she had come to tell him that she was leaving him. "I have something to tell you," she said. "But you must prepare yourself, for what I have to say is not easy to hear." The Rico looked at her with concern, waiting for her to continue. "I am not human," she said. "I am an enchantress, one of the most powerful creatures in all the land. And I have been in love with you since the day I first met you." The Tong man was shocked. He had never heard of an enchantress before, and he had certainly never expected to be loved by one. "Is it true?" he asked her. "Do you really love me?" "I do," she said. "With all my heart. And I have come to take you away with me to my kingdom, where you will become the prince of my land." Rico could hardly believe his ears. He had never imagined such a thing, but as he looked into Elise's eyes, he knew that it was true. He stood up slowly, and reached out a hand to her. "I will go with you," he said. "I will go anywhere you want me to go." And so Elise took him by the hand, and they set off into the magical kingdom. Rico was filled with wonder and awe as they traveled through the enchanted fields and forests. He felt as if he had stepped into a dream, as if everything around him was too incredible to be real. Elise led him to her castle, a magnificent structure that seemed to shimmer in the sunlight. The boy was amazed by it, and he couldn't believe that he was actually going to live there. But as Elise took him inside, he began to understand that this was his home now, and that he was going to become a powerful prince in this mystical land. Over the years that followed, Rico, now a man, grew to love Elise even more. They were inseparable, spending every moment together, exploring the kingdom and learning all of its secrets. Elise taught him how to use magic, and he became one of the most powerful sorcerers in all the land. One day, Elise decided to throw a grand feast in honor of her beloved prince. She invited all the enchanted creatures from far and wide to celebrate the prince's birthday, and the entire kingdom was buzzing with excitement. As the feast began, Elise stood up and announced to the crowd that the prince was, in fact, her true love. And with that, she declared that he was to become the new king of the Enchanted Kingdom. The prince was taken aback by this, but he couldn't help but feel proud and honored by the title. He had never imagined that he would become a king, but now it all seemed so natural. He looked at Elise, and he knew that he would do anything to make her happy. And so, Rico became the king of the Enchanted Kingdom, and he spent the rest of his life ruling over his beloved land with wisdom and compassion. He had been loved by an enchantress, and now he was the ruler of her magical world. It was a true fairy tale come to life, and the prince knew that he had everything he had ever wanted, all because he had been loved by the most incredible creature in all the land.